Empire in Mexico City, an Irish pipe band in Mexico City, a San Patricio's mariachi group in Dublin. So I'm going to end this. I only have like 4 or 5 minutes left. I'm going to end this with how my trip ended in Washington, D.C. with this group of Mexican kids who were really great kids and open to everything and wanting to learn everything. We went to the Washington Monument. And I don't know if you've seen the Washington Monument. If you haven't, Google your photos. But you'll see that the Washington Monument is 2 different colors. The bottom part is a pure, brilliant white, and the upper part is kind of gray. Well, what happened was the construction of the Washington Monument, which was a monument to George Washington, the first president, was stopped during the Mexican War. They ran out of marble. It was Maryland marble. And it was reconstructed or added to after the war was over. It was in the 1850s. But this time they had to use marble from Maine, New Hampshire, as well as the Maryland marble. And it aged faster. So you have a darker top in the whiter bottom. But anyway, the guide who was speaking to these Mexican students of mine said, and not only was the monument different, but even the reason for the monument had changed. Instead of just being a monument to George Washington, it became a monument of our dominance of North America. And I thought, that was kind of an insensitive thing to say when you have a Mexican audience, And I wrote at the end of the book, it's my hope that one day that the Washington Monument, instead of being a phallic symbol of American dominance, will become instead a beacon of hope for all the people of the Americas. Thank you.
One quick announcement before we take your questions. The bathroom right here is not working, but we have 2 bathrooms all the way to the back wall. So if any of you need that. If any of you need to leave before we're done, if you can leave as quietly as possible, we really appreciate it. Including not start talking till you're out of ways. Otherwise, we will hear where you're going for breakfast. So, if you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand. Mic will be brought to you. If you'll stand, hold the mic so incredibly close to your mouth, and then ask your question. We're mostly interested in questions over comments. Okay. We'll start right here.
Did you ever, somewhere along the way, find records in Mexico, and why were they not available? Well, I guess you said the men didn't have proper papers, but how did you access them, if in fact you did?
Yeah. When I went through the archives, they said, well, first of all, you need a copy of your passport, your wife's passport, a copy of your FM3, your wife's FM3, she's going to be with you. You need a letter from your university that you're a legitimate investigador. You need a letter from the Secretary of the Interior, and you need a letter from the Secretary of Defense. So, yeah, it's fairly complicated. But yes, I did get access. The other kind of interesting story is there was another place where there were records, and this is called the Museo de Intervenciones in Mexico City. And that's where the convent was that the Irish defended. I tried to get in there, and I filled out all the paperwork, and they told me no. So as I'm leaving, I ran into a Catholic priest, and the priest was working in the parish, a poor parish that was close to there. And he said, what happened? And I said, well, I tried to get in, and they told me no. He said, come back after shift change and fill out the paper again. Fill out the paper again, but this time where it says País de Origen, country of origin, instead of putting Estados Unidos, put Irlanda. So I did that, and I filled it out, and I put Irlanda. They said, pásale. But the really interesting thing is, once I got inside, they gave me a mozo, or a guy to help me, with an opener to open the crates and stuff. And I found a crate about this big, and I got him to open it, and inside, wrapped in oilcloth, were rifles. And on the rifles it said, Harper's Ferry, 1847. And I said, can I take pictures of this? And he said, sure. So I took pictures, I sent them to Harper's Ferry National Park, I said, what in the world, these rifles doing in Mexico lost the war? He said, you just solved a major problem, a major historical problem. I said, what was that? He said, well, we had a blockade at Veracruz, so no weapons could pass into Mexico, quite obviously. But we let Guatemalans pass through because they were engaged in their own civil war. However, these particular Guatemalans were obviously gun runners, and they brought the guns back up from Guatemala to Mexico City, but by the time they got there, the war was over. And the Mexicans just put them in the cellar of the convent where they had been for 150 years.
Wow.
Yeah, really cool story.
We're over here.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, how many of our people immigrated from Ireland to Mexico back in the 1800s?
There were. That's interesting, because there were Irish here. Not all were deserters. As I said, 79 were tried for desertion, but there were, close to 300 in the battalion. Those who were actual citizens of Mexico, and were not bothered. So there were Irish here. Not a lot, but some. And Scots as well, and some Germans. Yeah.
Right here.
It was my understanding that the Mexican government allowed adoptions for the Irish because of their involvement with Mexico. Is that still going on? Was that true? I heard also that there were complications.
I don't know about that. I do know one of the I had heard about it, but I don't know if it's still going on. The other thing that's kind of interesting is the Mexican government also voted an amendment to their constitution that allows us to lower the flag at half-mast on August 20th, which is the date of the anniversary. So that's a very big deal in Mexico. Yeah.
Given this history, I wonder if you would speak briefly to the generosity and openness of the the Mexican people and the Mexican government to our presence here today.
Well, I think it's wonderful that we're here in such a peaceful environment, especially when you read some of the propaganda that's directed against Mexico in the press. I often have a feeling when I read State Department notices that they're probably prompted by people who are more interested in tourism to Alabama than they are, in the reality,
Right here. Could you stand?
Congratulations first. Congratulations first.
Thank you.
I really like your presentation. I think that's a clue. And where can we buy your book? This moment.
Yeah.
Where can we buy your book? Outside the gate?
No.
This moment.
We can't buy it in the gate.
You can't buy it in the gate. We'll be at the Posada Nueva.
Okay.
At the Nueva Posada? At the Nueva Posada for lunch as soon as we wrap up here. I'll have a table and I'll have books and I will sign them. Yes. Yes.
Back here.
Yeah.
Can you speak to the town of San Patricio over by Malacca, and how does that fit in with some of this Irish history?
Yeah. What's really neat is where are you? I don't know if I'm. Yeah. The University of Washington sends a group there every year called the San Patricio Battalion. It's a group that was organized by a history professor at the University of Washington. And Green, is there a school in Washington? Green something? Evergreen. Yeah, Evergreen University is the other one. Those two universities opened a San Patricio Secundaria, San Patricio Primaria, and they have every St. Patrick's Day a parade. But even though I love the word Malacca, it sounds like Malachi, no, in Irish. However, it pre-existed the San Patricio Battalion. It's named because St. Patrick is the patron saint of the town. But these Irish Americans from the University of Washington and Evergreen University have capitalized on that and now have a celebration there every year. It's rather nice. I've been there twice.
Anybody else? Okay. And over here? And over there?
Michael, when your book first came out, it got rave reviews, including the one we read in the Oval. But I'm curious about the movie. how did you feel about the movie based on your book?
Okay. Well, the son of the Who's, Jason Houle, actually produced the documentary, which was brilliant. Had the Dublin Symphony Orchestra, was filmed in Ireland, filmed in Mexico, and it was absolutely brilliant. The movie, however, with Tom Berenger and Daniela Romo, was a romanticized version of the story. The script was already written, and the author of the script had died, and he was a friend of the Who's, and the Who's promised to present the movie pretty much as he wrote it. They hired me as historical advisor. So the only things I could touch in the script were historical errors. I couldn't change the plot or anything. I could advise on uniforms. I could advise on cannons, artillery, and so on and so forth. And I could, for example, they had Santa Ana at the Battle of Monterrey, and Santa Ana was in Cuba at the time. So I could change factual errors that they made, and I couldn't change the other part. So the movie kind of turned out to be a B movie. And I was a little disappointed, but it still got the word out, and a lot of people found out about the San Patricios that would have never found out otherwise. Okay, B minus.
Right here.
Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
My name is Julio Cullen. I'm from Ireland. I'm actually a direct descendant of the Kellys that were involved in the war in Mexico. With regard to the question that the lady asked about St. Patricio, the city, St. Patrick's College in Ireland had been sending missionaries to Mexico 250 years earlier, and I believe that may be the influence of the name of the town.
Wonderful.
And by the way, just thank you for this wonderful presentation.
Well,
We at home really appreciate this.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for being here.
Let me just say a word about your ancestor. Sergeant Kelly actually survived. He was one who was whipped, but he actually survived and went to Costco, where he opened a place called Kelly's Silver. He had an interest in a silver mine and ultimately a silver jewelry shop, which operated up until the 1960s, late 1960s. So the Kelly name survives in Mexico for sure.
Over here.
Could I just ask you the name of the professor at the University of Washington?
I don't know, but if you come up to me after the meeting and give me I'll give you my card. You can send me an email, and I have it on my computer. I just don't know it offhand.
Right here.
Just to let you know, the influence continues. There's an Irishman here in Lake Chapala, Tom Mule, who is a bagpiper. He has formed a group which we call the Chapala Highlanders, and we're in talks with the battalion in Mexico City to have exchange duties where they will perform here lakeside, and we will go to Mexico City to perform with them.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Oh, that's great. Where am I? Who do I have? Anybody? I think we're in the gazebo.
One in the gazebo.
Yep, yep. The mic's coming. Hang on. Hang on. You can do it. Stop. Don't fuss. Grab that mic.
Just wondering what kind of representation the deserters had at their trial. Was there legal representation at all?
No.
Well, that was a quick question.
You know it's also interesting. If you're a Mexican and you go to the border, the people that give you the worst time at the border happen to be second-generation Mexicans, usually. The border patrol people. We are often meanest to our own than we are to other people. And the person who was in charge of the hanging of the San Patricios was a second-generation Irishman by the name of Harney, Colonel Harney. As a matter of fact, 16 were killed one day, and then 2, and then the largest hanging was 30, just before the Battle of Chapultepec Castle. And when he had them all lined up on the wagons with the nooses around, he noticed that one was missing. And the one that was missing had both of his legs shot off in cannon fire. And Harney said, "I don't give a damn. I got an order to hang all 30 of them. Bring them out." And they brought him out on the stumps, and he stood on the stumps in the wagon for an hour because Harney was not going to hang him until the American flag went up over Chapultepec. So he was a vicious, nasty man. He ultimately became a warden of a prison in Connecticut.
Oh, man.
The poor prisoners.
Our last question in the back.
Thanks.
Right.
I'm afraid I know the answer to this, but has there ever been any kind of acknowledgement or apology, like John Kennedy was president, from the American government?
Harry Truman, when he was elected president, made a special trip to Mexico and laid a wreath at the memorial of the Niños Héroes, the young boys who died at the Battle of Chapultepec. And that's kind of the apology that the American government made. And he said he hoped that in the future we would be good neighbors.
Cat, one more from the gazebo.
Oh, okay.
In the event that when we get to La Posada, all the books are sold, how do we get a copy?
I'll take your information and make sure you get copies. Michael, would you stand up? Michael Miller is here. He comes down to the to this area much more often than I do, and he'll have books.
I'll bring books. They're also at Diane Pearl.
But the 100 are with him over at the restaurant, so I can't sell for him at all. So don't think that I'm endorsing
at the restaurant
over there to buy. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you all
so
so much.